Sounds like we've got a mystery drone flying overhead. December's upon us and 2024 is wrapping up with some exciting drone news. And I've got a few topics to go over with y'all, but let's start with the big one I'm sure everyone is waiting to hear about. Well, okay, that's probably for the drones flying over New Jersey and stuff, but we're saving that one for last. Congress is finally wrapping up the NDAA for 2025, otherwise known as the National Defense Authorization Act. And that's what we've all been in fear of these past few months, is the Countering CCP Drones Act language going to be put in there. And as I stated in my last news broadcast, that at that time it had been left out, and the great news is it has still been left out. They have not included it in the final NDAA. So once again, that is great news. That is awesome. All there is to it. However, before we get too excited, in the section 1709 of the NDAA reveals a legislation that national security agencies will have a 1-year deadline to evaluate whether communications and video surveillance equipment from specific manufacturers pose an unacceptable risk to the national security of the United States. The manufacturers in question are, of course, DJI, I'm sure they're at the top of the list, Autel Robotics, and Zoo Robotics. Any entities that are involved in joint ventures with these companies and organizations with technology sharing or licensing agreements. Security agencies will need to submit their evaluations to multiple congressional committees, including Armed Services, the Department of Defense, Homeland Security, and intelligence committees in both the chambers. What does this all mean? Well, should those security agencies find any risk to our national security, or they find no determination of a potential risk, then all mentioned companies and others will end up on the FCC covered list. And then obviously we know what that means. They will no longer be able to sell products in the US. Now, DJI released a statement explaining the legislation through their eyes. And this is pretty much what they said. If no agency conducts a study to determine risk, the proposed legislation adds DJI and other Chinese manufacturers to the FCC covered list, which would prevent DJI from launching new products in the US market through no fault of its own, but simply because no agency chose to take on the work of studying our products. And I think that really sums it up right there. So, once again, the saga continues, but as far as 2025 goes, everyone is free to fly their drones and to buy the drones and do as they please. And on to the next news story. Next up, we have quite an interesting story I think a lot of you might get a kick out of, and it is called Armed Drones in Schools. A recent filed Texas House Bill 462 proposes using armed drones for school security. This bill, written by State Representative Ryan Gillian, suggests deploying remote human-operated aerial devices equipped with air-based irritants and other non-lethal weapons as part of enhanced school security measures. Wow, sounds amazing already. What could possibly go wrong with that? The bill suggests deploying 1 drone per 200 students, which for larger districts could mean dozens of simultaneously operating drones within confined school spaces. This keeps sounding better and better. This is amazing. Of course, this bill raises many safety considerations. That's probably a good thing. Such as indoor deployment of chemical irritants that could affect unintended targets. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Also, this bill leaves critical questions unanswered, such as operator training, certification requirements, safety procedures, flying drones over people, and other regulatory oversight, even though we know that currently the FAA has no say on indoor flying, but let alone armed systems flying over students and school staff might take that to a different level. Time to wrap up today's news with the final story. And what is that story? Drones over New Jersey. That's right. Everyone has been going in a frenzy because of the drone sightings that we've been seeing in over New Jersey, New York, and other states. Now, a lot of these drones have been called out as actual manned aircraft, planes and helicopters. I've even seen some of them, they're definitely planes and some are definitely helicopters. However, not all are. Some are definitely drones. So, could this be just hobbyists and commercial pilots out just doing their thing? Or maybe it's just people trying to add on to the mass hysteria, freaking people out with drones flying everywhere, but only at night. No sightings in the daytime. Could it be the military just trying out new toys? Or could it be the government trying to scare the public into thinking drones are bad, be afraid of them, so we can ban the Chinese drones even that much easier? Well, let me tell you something. I think I know what it is. They're aliens, man. They're UFOs, they're aliens, they're coming for us. So grab your toilet paper, it's time to start hoarding, and it's time to get out of here. Ever since that drone, I was looking at it, it's getting kind of creepy and weird. So they're aliens, I'm telling you, man. I got my TP, I'm out of here. Till the next video, happy holidays and stay atomic.